It's time for the Savvy Realtor podcast. I'm Walter Storholt alongside Angie Cole, the owner and broker in charge of A. Cole Realty, serving you throughout the Triangle, teaching you about the ins and outs when it comes to buying or selling a home. You can find the team online by going to acolerealty.com. That's A-C-O-L-E realty.com, or by calling 919-578-3128. That's 919-578-3128. And now it's time for one of the top realtors in the Triangle, Angie Cole, and the Savvy Realtor podcast. Before we move further on into the program, every once in a while we like to have this little segment called Did You See This?, where we talk about something kind of bizarre or interesting in the real estate world. And Angie, did you know that you can buy a house on Amazon now?
I did. I feel like you can buy anything and everything on Amazon these days.
This certainly checks another box on the list, right? I mean, it's pretty wild. Yeah. The link that I came across here, we'll talk about that one in particular, but it did say under recommended viewing there are multiple, different kinds of homes for sale, it looks like. But in particular, this one that I came across, this is a, what are they called, mini homes, or what's the small houses? Tiny homes.
Like tiny house, but I feel like, and we were actually watching that show yesterday evening, but I feel like this is even a step down from a tiny house.
Right.
Because you're missing a lot of the features that a tiny home even has.
Because a tiny home really is more like an RV. They're usually transportable, right? They're a little bit more like the traditional tiny home concept is you can pick it up, move it around. It's kind of like an RV, but even more luxurious than a traditional RV. Is that sort of the tiny home
Sure,
gist?
yeah. And not all tiny homes are, transportable and on the go, but most, I would say, they are. They made them that way. But, they typically have a bathroom, a kitchen, electricity, kind of all of the essentials of living in a home. But this house on Amazon's a tad bit different.
Yeah, so a couple of details. It's 172 square feet. But here's the thing, and the reviews are pretty bad. There are 3 customer reviews. Now, this is pitched.
Total of 3?
3, and they're all 1-star reviews, which is not good.
No.
This is kind of pitched as a very easy to assemble. In just a couple of hours, you've got a quote-unquote house built. But here's the funny thing, as people were reviewing this, they're like, well, a couple of problems. There's no kitchen, there's no bathroom, there's no insulation, and there's no wiring.
Right.
But
it's kind of
you do get the free shipping.
What do you do in this home?
You do get the free shipping from Amazon, so I guess that's a benefit.
There you go. I read it takes, and even puts in quotations, simple tools. It takes only 2 people to construct this, and just using simple tools in just 8 hours, thanks to the step-by-step directions.
Oh my gosh!
What do you do with this thing?
I don't know. It's pretty interesting to look at, though. It's really, to me, seems just more like a souped-up garden shed.
Yeah. It's kind of cute, but, once again, I don't know. It seems like if it was a warm day, it'd get really steamy and hot in there.
It does.
In an enclosed area.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe you could find some other purposes for that building, but you seem almost like you'd be benefited by just having a simple, outdoor shed or something like that.
I agree.
Pretty interesting to see, though, that the tiny homes have made it to Amazon, and maybe there are better ones if we were to look around a little bit. Maybe there are better kits out there that you can buy to build these things, but there's one that's like a 2-story kit that you can buy. That one gets 3 stars. So it gets 3 reviews that are all 5 stars.
Wow.
So maybe that one's a little bit better. That one's 1,300 square feet as I'm clicking around here. So it looks like a legitimate 2-story house. I just don't know about buying a kit and building a home from a kit. Just doesn't seem right, does it?
Right, yeah. No, there's some things you don't buy from Amazon, and this might be one of those.
A house might be one of those. That's
yes.
a good point. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny to look at. By the way, it was $7,000 for that first one we were talking about. So I think you could buy some really nice, just good old sheds for that amount of money. For sure. Let's talk about flipping homes on today's show with Angie. You talked about the tiny home show that you were just watching. Shows like Flip and Flop are still really popular these days. And, you might be hearing or seeing a lot more commercials about house flipping seminars in the area, or even you'll see the road signs all the time. We're not going to get into the flipper's perspective on this show, but we really want to talk about what it would look like as a buyer if you are buying a home that has been flipped. and we just want to spend a couple of minutes talking about that. So what's kind of the first thing that we might want to be thinking about, Angie, if you're kind of giving somebody tips, if you've got a buyer who's considering a home and it looks like one that has had a quick turnaround and has been flipped? That's all great and good that now it looks really fancy and pretty, but we want to still make sure it has good bones, right?
Most definitely. I would make sure, to me, kind of number one would be, make sure that the house flipper, the person that did the work, is a licensed contractor. We want to make sure that we're not just putting kind of lipstick on a pig. You probably heard that saying before. It's important to make sure that it was indeed quality work that was done to the home, and it's not a makeshift, because what will happen is you'll move in, and over time things will start to fall apart. You'll start to see issues and problems, and that's the last thing that you want to deal with when it comes to buying a home that you should be enjoying and loving. And so make sure that the person that did the work is indeed a licensed contractor.
To verify some of that stuff, is it reasonable to ask for and expect them to have receipts and warranty information on the products and upgrades they did?
Most definitely. I mean, any person that has been doing this for a while would know to keep all of those items together. I mean, even a lot of just standard sellers, they have that drawer full of all of their, warranty information, all their brochures or pamphlets. And so, definitely request that, the work that was done, there's receipts for it. They share all the warranty information on all the products and upgrades, just because that's stuff that you will need later on down the road potentially as well.
And we really want to make sure that large work was permitted, right?
Most definitely. So, actually anything that has been changed as far as electrical, plumbing, any type of structural changes, you must pull a permit for all those options or changes. I mean, even if there's been a change in an HVAC system, there should be a permit that has been pulled. So definitely go to the county website. You can also call into the permitting department, and they're super, super helpful. But yes, make sure that any type of improvements where those items have been moved, those mechanicals, there were permits that were pulled and actually closed out. I have seen in the past where there's been major renovations done to a home. Although the initial permit was pulled, the permit's still open. It was never then what's called closed. So that means that the county inspector did not come back by for an inspection to double check that the work was done properly. So make sure permits have been pulled and they've also been closed out.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So make sure that you're kind of dotting those I's and crossing those T's when it comes to all this work, because if you don't, maybe it's when you go to sell the home that now these things surface and become a problem for you years down the line, and you don't want that to be the case. Yeah,
and you have to remember, too, if permits were not pulled, whenever it comes time for you to sell your home, for areas where permits were not pulled, you cannot include that in the heated square footage. Us as licensed real estate agents can actually get in trouble if we disclose the square footage improperly in the multiple listing database. And so areas that did not have the permits pulled, we cannot include that into the heated square footage, and that really changes the overall value of your home. So make sure that you are protecting yourself when it comes to purchasing a flipper.
It's a really great point. And again, make sure you've got inspections that have gone into that whole process as well to make sure the work was done not only legally but correctly as well. If you have any questions about what it's like to buy a home from a home flipper and you want a team that can help kind of guide you through that process, you're looking to buy a home here in the Triangle that's maybe been flipped, the A-Cole Realty team certainly is there to help you out. Give them a call at 919-538-6477. That's 919-538-6477. Or you can text that number as well and go back and forth with Angie, and she can get you on the right path to buying your next home. 919-538-6477, again, is that number to call or text. Stick with us, more around the corner here on The Savvy Realtor with Angie Cole.
Buying a home is a daunting task. Don't miss out on key information that will help you along the way. It's the Buying Blitz with Vicki DiProfio of A-Cole Realty.
Vicki, what kind of communication should a buyer expect with their realtor?
My hope is that communication is always very open and honest. I try to set that expectation from the beginning with my buyer clients. I'm going to be very frank with you. If I don't think that this is a good choice for you, I'm going to tell you. Now, you're an adult. You make your own decisions, so you can certainly make that decision to move forward, even if I'm saying I don't think it's a good choice. But I think that's my due diligence to you as my client, is to make sure that I'm open and honest with you.
So that's sort of the tenor of the communication that you like. What about the modes of communication?
It depends. I find that it varies from person to person. So again, I set that expectation from the beginning. I ask my clients, how do you like to be communicated with? I also remind my clients that because I am in the car most of the day, that, text and phone calls are the quickest, but I am the kind of personality that I won't go to bed at night with an unanswered email. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I'm up at, midnight still answering emails from that day.
Right.
So I think it's setting the expectation with your agent and with the client to make sure that you're communicating the best that you possibly can.
So if you're thinking about purchasing a home and you want to understand the next steps, it's a great guide that you can receive from start to finish and to take you through the home buying process. You can text the word contract to the phone number 555-888. So once again, to receive a downloadable home buying guide to your smartphone, just text the word contract to the phone number 555-888.
Wolfpackers, Blue Devils, and Tar Heel fans can all agree on at least one thing. A. Realty is the team to choose here in the Triangle when it comes to buying or selling a house. So let's lace up the shoes, grip the bat, and toss the pigskin back to Angie Cole on the Savvy Realtor.
You're listening to The Savvy Realtor with Angie Cole. Local realtor here in the Triangle, of course, has a great team that has just had great success throughout the area. I'm using the word great a lot because it's appropriate. Angie and her team have helped more than 600 families buy or sell their homes in just the past 3 years. She was voted as the #1 real estate agent in Raleigh by Midtown Magazine and #1 in Wake County by the Indy Weekly just last year. And if you want to find out more information about what it's like to work with Angie and the team, you can go to acolerealty.com. That's ACOLE Realty.com, and learn about what it's like to work with one of the best real estate teams here in the Triangle. And each week here on the program, we have a closing recap where we talk about one of the successes that a recent home buyer or seller experienced when they worked with Angie and the team. Maybe some of the challenges they faced, how Angie and the team helped them overcome those challenges. And Angie, who are we talking about this week?
Yeah, so I want to give a huge shout out and congrats to James and Carla. And it's only fitting that we met them through the radio show.
Well, how about that? That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, so, thank you for listening and for actually contacting me. So we had the opportunity of meeting with them, and not only did we help them with buying a home in Fuquay, they actually closed on their new custom-built home about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but also we helped them with selling their home in Garner. And when it came to selling their home, we ended up getting multiple offers for them, sold it super, super quick, and they closed on their sale this week. So just a huge congrats to James and Carla. They were absolutely amazing to work with. I was so it was such a pleasure being connected with them through the radio show and being able to assist them with both their buy and their sales side. So I know they are super excited, super happy to be in their new home in Fuquay, and they're, pleasantly surprised with the outcome of their sale.
That is very cool. Congratulations, guys, and thanks for calling into the show and getting in touch with Angie and going through that process, and glad that you got a successful home closing both on the buy and the sell side. That is fantastic. So if you want to see what it's like to work with Angie and her team, once again, I do encourage you to go to acolerealty.com. It's a great place to start your search for a home or to get in touch with the team via the web. You can also call or text Angie directly. That's right. You can just send Angie a text, start a conversation that way. 919-538-6477. That's 919-538-6477. Call Angie Cole at that number and talk about what you're looking to do when it comes to buying or selling here in the area. And last but not least, a great way, if you're thinking about selling in particular, a great first step to take if you're maybe not ready to pick up the phone and call or have that direct conversation, but you want to kind of take those first steps when it comes to selling your home. Angie, I know that a lot of folks do this each week here on the program, and that's finding out, how much their home is worth, what their potential value is. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, most definitely. So, that's one of those things that sellers always ask us is, well, what is my home worth? Because oftentimes it doesn't make sense for them to make a move unless they can net a certain amount, right? So if you are thinking about selling your home and you want to get an idea of what your home is worth in today's market, I would love to share with you our neat tool that we have. And it's as simple as pulling out your smartphone. So on your smartphone, just text the word listing to the phone number 555-888. And from there, we are going to text you back with a link. Make sure that you click the link, you input your address, and from there, we will share with you what your home is worth. So once again, if you're thinking about selling your home and you want to get an idea of what your home is worth in today's market, just text the word listing to the phone number 555-888.
It's all you have to do. Very easy to find out that potential home value. Again, just text the word listing to the number 555-888. We'll text you right back with a quick link that you put in your home's information into, and you'll find out that potential home value. It's that easy. It only takes 20 or 30 seconds to complete, and you'll be well on your way to getting that great information. Great first step if you're thinking about selling your home in the near future. Just text the word listing to the number 555-888. Much more coming up on today's show. You're tuned in to The Savvy Realtor with Angie Cole. More on the way.
It's time for the mailbag. We want to hear from you.
Drew in Fuquay has a question for us. Drew says, I recently purchased my first home. It's just me and my dog Reno. I plan on being here for a while, and I'd like to do some renovation work. I know you've talked about being careful over upgrading a home, but I just want to do it for fun. Would I really be shooting myself in the foot if I made a bunch of changes?
Drew, I feel like there's not a right or wrong answer to this with answering your question. So, I do say be careful when it comes to over improving your home. And what I mean there is you never want to be the nicest, most expensive home on the block in your neighborhood, because typically you will not get all that money back out of it. But on the flip side, if you plan on being there for a while, you need to enjoy your home, right? So you know what? I would say run with it and have fun, as long as you I've now set that expectation for you that when it's time to sell your home, you might not get the full value back out of the improvements that you put into your home. But you know what? A home is just that. It's called a home for a reason, and you need to make it your own. So if you enjoy doing improvements, doing renovation work, enjoy it and, make it a home for you and your dog.
That's a really good point, Angie and Drew. I mean, have some fun, right? I mean, I guess there's a big difference, Angie, between, hey, I'm going to paint the walls. Like, that's not going to price you out of your neighborhood.
No.
Versus I'm going to add an elevator and,
sure,
a 6,000 square foot addition into the backyard that I'm going to be the biggest
right.
home in the, foreseeable distance in the zip code. Well, then that might be, shooting yourself in the foot a little bit there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's more of if your next step is to quickly sell your home or to do all of these type of improvements or changes in order to sell, that's when I say, let's stop. Let's stop what we're doing right there. Let me give you some feedback. Let me give you some guidance based on your neighborhood and what it can support. But, if you're going to be there for a while, make it your own. Enjoy it. If that's something that's your hobby, that you love doing as far as renovations and just kind of improving your home, have at it. It's a home for a reason.
Yep, it's a really great point. Thank you for the question, Drew. Again, if you want to submit a question, you can do that by going to acolerealty.com. You've been listening to the Savvy Realtor podcast. I'm Walter Storholt alongside Angie Cole. She's the owner and broker in charge of A. Cole Realty here in the Triangle. And if you have questions for Angie, we invite you to go online to acolerealty.com. Listen to past podcast episodes on the website, read the blog, and all the great information, including the option to find a home right there on the website. That's acolerealty.com. And you can also call Angie with your questions, 919-578-3128.